Alright, good evening. What I'm going to show you how to do here is troubleshoot your network connection in case you lose your connection for one reason or another. A few commands you'll want to know is ipconfig and the subcommands for that, which is renew, release. A few other commands you want to know is netstat, the subcommands for that, and traceroute. Those will actually let tell you where your problem is. Now let's get started. First thing you want to do, you notice you don't have an IP. You notice you don't have an internet connection. The first thing you want to do is ipconfig. Oops, it would help if I had that selected. ipconfig, which will bring up all the configuration information for your IP addresses or your adapters. Now this one here, on my computer here, I'm going to focus right here because that's all you really need to focus on is this area here. Ethernet adapter, local area LAN connection, or a local area connection. Connection specific DNSFX, gateway2wire.net, and gateway2wire.net, which is my modem. Link local IPv6, that's your local link, internal link. IPv4, again, is an internal link, internal IP address. You will never see this on the external servers. Subnet mask is, of course, what your subnet is, and we're not going to get too far into that because it's too far advanced for what I'm showing you now. Default gateway is the interface for your router. Now, we'll see that all that's up and going. We see that's relatively right. It brings up information. It looks right. Okay, well, let's find out. Alright, say you want to test your connection. Command ping ping space, and you're just going to use a fictitious IP address 192.168.168.255. Okay, and it'd help if I put a dot here. And press enter, and that's going to come back with a timeout 4 different times. It's going to tell you that 0 packets were sent, 4 packets were sent, 4 packets were lost, 100% lost. Now that tells me that you might have a connection problem with either software or hardware, or even the hardwire connections. If something's loose somewhere. That doesn't really tell you much. It just tells you that there's not a connection path. Okay, fine. Alright. TRACERT. Yahoo.com. I'm going to use that because, well, that's a good one to use. Of course, this one's over 30 hops away, but this is what happens when you do the trace route. What it does is it traces exactly where it starts from, which is right here, home 192.168.1.254. It goes out to specific different nodes or computers throughout the network, and it brings back the trace information that you need. And if you're on a home network, and of course you try to ping somebody else's computer on that network, it won't be that much of a list. Now you see you go past your home, but then let's say over here on number 10, to where it said it doesn't come up with any information here. You've lost information here. So that's the ISP, or you go here and you can't get any more information. That's normally the ISP part. So you need to call your ISP to get that situated and get that taken care of. Now that being said, say the trace route works, this works, and all, but you're still experiencing slow or intermittent connectivity. Netstat. What that will do is it'll bring up every connection that you have open at that particular time. As you can see, I have quite a few connections open right now to several different places. Well, not as many as I thought. Actually, there's only like 5 to 6 connections at this point in time, which is fine. And normally you'll have that many connections, being that eh, most of it's going to be a loop back. And such as this case, everything I have open right now is a loop back to this. 127.0.0.1 is a loop back. 192.168.1.64 is my personal IP address, my internal IP address. So, you see that's good and go. All right, netstat question mark. Okay. Okay, question mark. That will bring up all the different switches you could use. The /A displays all connections and listing ports. Um, -A is what you want to what you want to use to see how many connections you have open. Um, and of course, you can see the routing table for /R, and just all kinds of information here. The one the one you really want to work with or pay attention to is right here, /A. So netstat /A. Okay, you can see that I have a lot of ports open at this point in time, and it's still going. These addresses here, 0.0.0, 443, whatever, these are invalid. Do not pay attention to those. Those are just ports that are open on my system for internal use only. Same thing with 127.0.0.1, internal use only. Again, this room 192. Any prefix with 192 is internal use only. Now with this here, what you have here is IPv6, and that's pretty much accepting any IPv6 on port 500. Yeah, I really need to harden my system up. But these are the specific port numbers. And if you look up here, displays all connections, all listing ports. Yeah, this one where you have all these ports where it says listening, that's exactly what they're doing, is listening. There's no reason for them to do anything else at this point in time. But such as here, this right here is HTTPS is connected to a server that I have. This one right here is established. Then that's sent. That's acknowledging that, hey, I'm here. These three right here are established. These are going to several different places within my home network. Again, this one right here is established. Again, this is my personal computer here. And that's pretty much what you have. Now, if you have a DOS attack or DOS attack, you'll have several of these connections open and active at that point in time, such as established. You'll see it established all the way down through. And really, the only way to do that is to disconnect your system or turn off or disable your network card. And normally, you won't have a DOS attack, but you are open for it. Most case scenarios, your router will protect you against that. Now, back to ipconfig. We did that before. You know what that is already. Now you see a problem with your IP address, and it's not bringing up subnet mask or default gateway or whatever. All right, here's what you want to do: ipconfig /release. Okay, that will release everything. At this point in time, I do not have an internet connection. As you can see, there's no data installed here other than generic data that was already there to begin with. I don't have, if I were to ping somebody, let's see, ping yahoo.com, it would come back as unavailable. That ping request at the time came back, could not find host. And that's because I don't have an IP address. Now, to get an IP address, ipconfig renew. And there you go. You have your IP address back again, right here. And that's pretty much self-explanatory, and it works. The only way you're going to be able to renew your external IP address is simply by going, right here, default gateway. Usually right here will be your external link, but because I have my system locked up, that's the internal link. The only way to renew your external link is to reset your router, unplug it and plug it back in, and it'll resense everything. As far as Windows is concerned, if you Windows has an easier thing to do called a network sharing center. And I'll try to open that up and bring your view. Alright, network sharing center. When you have a problem with your internet connection, this is going to be in the lower left hand or lower right hand corner over by your time. You can check your internet connection through there as well. Now, if there's an X here or exclamation point here or here, you double click on these two links here, or just pick one of these somewhere on this picture, and it'll automatically do the resensing and releasing and troubleshooting there on out. But sometimes that does not work. That's why I wanted to show you how to do it in DOS or the command prompt. Any questions or any other concerns, please feel free to email me or leave a comment on this page. Thank you and have a good night.